Alright, people, it's Tim again. Yeah, I ain't got my fucking teeth in again today. I ain't even got my contacts in. I can see me now. George's over there, sleeping his ass off. Oh, it snowed today. It was like almost 70 yesterday, snowed today, and it's 30 some odd degrees, go figure. But, I guess where I left off was, I was about 5 years old, and, I wouldn't say it was traumatic, but it was definitely something memorable because I've always been bold and experimentative. I've overdosed myself a couple of times, poisoned myself a couple of times when I was a kid. I don't know how old I was. At one time, my mother was blowing out the pipes. We had an oil heat in one of our apartments somewhere. I don't know where it was. I want to say it was Brewer, Maine, or something like that. And there was like this little pipette thing, kind of shaped like this. I could get my fucking finger to make an L. Good. Shaped like that. See? And adapt and overcome, improvise, fucker. But and I thought my mother was drinking, so I go over and take a big old fucking haul, I'm over there fucking guzzling down because I was a guzzler guts. If you gave me a sip of something, I was gonna be looking at the bottom of the fucking cup. Okay, can I have a drink of that? Sure, I'd drink the whole goddamn thing. I was a little prick that way. Either that or just pour it over somebody's head. Did that to my grandmother one time, but yeah, that's great. Grammy asked me if she could have a drink. I said, sure, Grammy. Walked right over to her and freaking no malice intended whatsoever. Just dumped it over her head. Said, there you go, Grammy. She was not impressed. My mother fucking guffawed. She was fucking... Oh, yeah. About God. I probably got my ass beat. My grandmother didn't fucking play. Even though I was a Grammy's boy, she still didn't fucking play with my ass. But, yeah. But anyway, so I thought she was drinking, so I fucking... take a big old fucking chug of this shit straight to the fucking hospital. I go. Charcoal treatment number 1. There's more than one. Yeah. I'm mad I was that kid. But I was in 5th grade, Miss Climo's class. I don't think it was at Helen Hunt School. Cause I think Helen Hunt School was over in Old Town. And this was Miss Climo's class. It was somewhere. It was a different school, but I'd met this kid Seth. Blonde-haired kid like me, and I'd go to his house and stuff. We'd have sleepovers and get up, watch Saturday morning cartoons. I'd be fucking eating whatever cereal. I mean, my cereal back then, my go-to was always Boo Berry. That was my shit. Boo Berry, Honeycomb, Cocoa Puffs, friggin' Rice Krispies for some odd fucking reason with a ton of sugar on it. What the fuck else? Captain Crunch's Crunch Berries, oh yeah. Oh, hell yeah. And when they came out with all Crunch Berries, oh, Jesus Christ, yeah, I about lost my fucking mind. But, yeah, Seth and I would sit there watching Captain Caveman and fucking all kinds of other shit. But, we were in the same kindergarten class. Miss Climo was our teacher, I remember. And, because Penny Murray was in my class. I'll tell you about Penny Murray in a minute. You ain't gonna believe this shit. But, something had happened. Somebody, it wasn't even me or Seth. I remember we were in class one day, and like the chalkboard was. You can't see where I'm pointing, but because I'm literally standing in the freaking classroom right now. This is how my brain operates. And I'm walking over to the there's like a cabinet like over here. Okay, I'm in here's the room like this. Okay, around me. I'm in a cabinet. There's like a cabinet over here, about waist high. About close to chest high on a 5-year-old, even a small one. I was always kind of tall for a kid. I don't know. And there was an ice pack there, and a big ice pack. I was thirsty, I guess. Don't know what possessed me to do this, but Seth was with me, so I ripped the freaking ice pack open somehow, and there's freaking clear liquid in it that I assume is water. So we start splitting this fucking ice pack, and Miss Climo comes over and she says, basically, I'm sure in her mind she was saying, what in the ever-loving fuck are you doing? So straight to the hospital we both go, and Charcoal treatment number 2. And I've never seen so many fucking cups of charcoal in my life. I've never drank so many cups of fucking charcoal in my life. I mean, we both, that shit was coming out of probably everywhere but our ass at that point. I'm sure later in the day it was coming out of our asses too. I mean, this shit was coming out of fucking, if it was an orifice, it seemed to have fucking charcoal coming out of it. I mean, it was fucking crazy. But apparently we lived. Haven't seen Seth since then, so I don't even know what his last name was. So if your name is Seth and you grew up in the Old Town, Maine area and you were in 5th grade in you were in kindergarten in 1979 in Miss Climo's class, and you had a little blonde-haired bastard named Timmy as your best friend. Hi, Seth, it's me. Anyway, I had a different last name then, and I will divulge that only to people that freaking, because it's just nothing to hide. It's just, that person isn't me anymore. I'm a different person. I'm thinking of changing my name back to my original name. I'm just like, I'm still on the fence about that, and I still got to talk with God some more about it. So, yeah. And I will explain at some point maybe the reason why I wanted to change my name anyway, because it borders on taking back forgiveness and stuff like that from forgiving my father and some things. So, and that's not what this particular video is centered on. And what it is centered on is I'm catching up. I'm trying to put in, pivotal points in my life that molded me into the person that I am now. That's why I'm even sharing this. Why God wants me to share this. Why I still don't know, because I don't want to fucking do it, but I'm doing it. Because this ain't about me. It's really about you and about humanity. And if something I say can help somebody, then that's really the point to all of this. If it can instill some love, some hope, maybe bring somebody to a higher power, or at least let somebody realize there's something out there that's watching your fucking ass, because left our own devices, we're fucking idiots. All of us. Ain't nobody above that. I don't give a fuck who you are. Get off your high goddamn horse, take a look in the mirror, and realize that this shit here, this flesh, it's fucking fragile, and it falls very short of the glory of what I call God. Okay? And again, as always, whatever you believe in, as long as it coerces you to not be a fucking piece of shit, and you ain't fucking with kids, then you're good. Love with your whole heart. Love enough to make it fucking weird. Fuck it. People hate enough to make it fucking intolerable, so why not love enough to make it weird? Hate never did anybody any good, and never did one goddamn good thing for this world. Love sure as fuck has. Think about that, people. Really, think about that. And I'm talking about all kinds of hate. Hate in and of itself is a fucking sham. But anyway, back on point. So, yeah, that was the second thing. And somewhere around that same time period, my mother had these, I remember they were pink. And I was eating these candies. I think it was the candies that come on the tape, and they're these little fucking nub-looking things. And there's usually about 4 or 6 of them across in a row. And you can get rolls of these fucking things, all kinds of different colors. They're hard as fucking rocks. And they're probably just basically hardened colored sugar. I don't fucking know what they are. But you pick them off like this wax paper thing and you eat them. And I believe that's what these things looked like. But they were pink, and I was eating candy that obviously looked similar to these pills. And, I hate to keep busting on my mother, but, and back in that lifestyle, there were times where I picked up what I thought was a cup of water off the counter, thought it was friggin', something to drink. Yeah, it was something to drink, all right. I remember this one time we were fucking, it was still on French Island, because we'd gone back and forth to French Island a couple of times, throughout my childhood. I remember being there when I was like 3, and then when I was 4, and then when I was 6, and I was 5, and fucking, back and forth. We lived in Bradley, lived in fucking Brewer, fucking all. I mean, old time. I moved all over the fucking place. My whole life has been a nomadic life. It still is. You know, I rarely stay more than about 5 years anyway. In my lifetime. I've never stayed anywhere longer than 5 years in my life. 6 years is the longest I've ever stayed in one spot, and that's when I got married and was renting a house down in Orlando, and that will come up later in whatever this is. This is God's project. This ain't Tim's project. This is God's fucking project, okay, people? This ain't friggin', you know. If it gets monetized or something like that, then whatever, so be it. I guess I don't fucking know it. That's not my goal. I mean, God told me to share my story. I'm sharing my story. Whatever happens, happens. You know, I'm letting. I will not do God's fucking job. I won't even have enough fucking pride and fucking ego to think that I can, because no, the fuck I cannot. Neither can you. Just newsflash. I don't care if you're an evangelist, fucking evangelist, ventriloquist, fucking crash test fucking dummy. Get off your high horse. You ain't there. You know. You ain't God. You ain't never going to be God. You ain't going to be fucking close to God. Might hear the voice of God. Might preach the word of God. But is it your interpretation of the word of God? Or is it the word of God? Is it that... We will discuss that later, because that's going to come up in some of my story as well. But back on track. These and I noticed that God is helping me be able to get back on track with my thoughts and stuff too. And that's for me. If you know me, that is fucking miraculous, because I'm very bright and articulate, but I call it squirreling out. I'll get on the phone and fucking squirrel, and I'm mentally chasing the goddamn squirrel, and I have to get back to where I fucking started from. And sometimes it's very fucking frustrating, because I feel like I have something really, really pertinent to say, and then I lose it, but I'm not doing that these days since my forgivenesses and everything, and I will keep referring back to that, because that is the number one most crucial point in my life, and the biggest thing I have ever done in my life to this point was forgiven everybody that has ever wronged me, molested me, done anything to me that caused me to carry hate and malice and fucking just fucking skyscrapers fucking worth of weight upon my fucking shoulders that I had no intent, no business having to fucking carry from the time I can remembering, which for me at the most crucial was fucking 3 years old, was my first trauma, you know, and on from there. And I'm going to be 53 in June. I mean, I'm 52 in June, I'm sorry, pal, but 52 on June 3rd, you know. So I've been through it for a while. And don't fucking pity me. Pity me, you're going to piss me off. Don't fucking pity me, please. I don't need pity. I don't want pity. Understanding, yes. Empathy, sure. Whatever, you know. If you have that kind of compassion in you, sure. But just know, I'm okay. I really am. I'm very, very okay. You know. And God has made me okay. And it's only God that has made me okay. Alright? So, just, please, believe me when I tell you, I am, and you're going to see me and my soulmate. We are going to be something to behold. You know, as I've mentioned before, I'm into a lot of tarot readings and stuff like that. I have several sources for that I trust, that I know are you know, good things speaking to me, because I can tell one of my gifts is that I can see evil for what it is instantly. You ain't gonna fucking hide from me. You ain't gonna fucking, you know. I can sense that, you know, and I can sense good in people. I can read people. I don't even have to see your face. I can be talking to you through text, mind you, and I can tell if there's something up with you, if you're for real, if you're full of shit, friggin' pretty much your life story. It's just a gift I've always had, because I've always had to use it and hone it to in the hopes of protecting myself from future trauma or future abuse. And I'm really fucking good at it. You know, it's basically written into my fucking DNA. You know, I can't not do it. But so I can tell. I kind of got lost on that little tangent, but anyway, uh, let me get back on point, and maybe it'll come back, or maybe I'll eventually start coming around full circle. It's a really fucking huge blessing, to tell you the truth. That I can go back and pick up where I left off and stuff like that. Because I haven't always been able to do that, and I see that as a true blessing. It's just the chaos and turmoil in my mind. I mean, it hasn't been instantly relieved. Most of it has, but I'd still say, if you put it on a 100% scale, I'm probably 97 to 98% relieved of all that fucking chaos and fog and fucking shit in my mind, because of the gifts that I have that have lain dormant, and things that I have I have broken familial curses. I have broken some chains. I have done some work for my ancestors unknowingly, and I'm being hooked up. I've found out that I have pretty powerful ancestors and stuff, and I'm pretty powerful myself. I just haven't, well, not in it yet. Things still are to be unlocked and stuff, and you can call bullshit or not. I don't care, because the proof is in the pudding. I'm not. Yes, I'm a talker, but I'm also a shower. I live my life as, don't talk about it, be about it. All, have you ever heard the old saying, all will be revealed? Well, it will. And you will see that everything that I say is 100% true. And the things that I mentioned that are about to be are 100% true, and you will see that. And then we will both see if I'm full of shit or not. Okay? Fair enough to you? All right. I'm not, by the way, but you know what I mean? It's just like, and that's as real as I can make it, I will know if I'm full of shit just as soon as you will know too. Okay? So I take these pink pills, and they're scattered all over. Oh, yeah, I have drank. So I wanted to mention the cups again before I go back to the pills, because it's kind of funny. I remember one time it was a clear, either blue plastic or blue glass glass. Chances are it probably wasn't glass, because I was only about 5-6 years old. But I pick up this glass sitting on the counter, and I was a guzzle guts, again, remind you. I'd already drank about, I don't know how much fucking heating oil, but it was enough I had to go to the fucking hospital. So I'd pick up this cup, and I just fucking start hawking it down. It was fucking white vinegar. Oh, yeah. And then there was another time, there was on French Island, Old Town again. It was this, the red Tupperware cup? Everybody had this fucking set in the 70s. You either had red, and it had you either had multicolors or you had all one color. And I know this one was red, and then it had it was like a little fluted thing, almost looked like a flower base kind of dealy thing with a lip that came up and kind of flared out, almost like an ice cream sundae dish kind of thing. But when, the red plastic cup I'm talking about. Sitting on the counter again, just sitting there. Timmy comes by all thirsty, grabbed that fucking cup, side, just fucking chugging it down. Yeah, it was smearing off fucking vodka. Yeah. It was not a good fucking after. The aftermath was not good at all. But, and it was just shit like that. But, and then I met Penny Murray. And this was my first inclination, looking back now, of just the capacity that I had to be able to love. Because my mother, if she was here right now, would attest to the fact that this wasn't puppy love. This little girl, Penny Murray, had black hair, beautiful skin, the most beautiful little thing I had ever seen in my life. I can still see her today, because she was at my 6th birthday party, up behind Shorty's store. And at the time, the building was a 2-story building. And it had this big porch on the 2nd floor and everything that was all roofed in, screened in, and all that shit. And you had to go up this kind of steep stairways in the middle of the building to get up to that and everything. And my mother was working at a bakery on French Island at the time, and she made me this Cookie Monster cake and shit. Had this big fucking cookie and everything. I was all about some Cookie Monster. and Penny Murray was there, and I had a picture of her, the only picture that exists in my life. If it still exists, I have since lost that photo album that it was in. My mother was the keeper of all that, and one of my ever since I had been in my first foster home, my mother gave me a photo album to keep. Photos have always been very, very important to me, and photography has always been very, very important to me. My prized possessions that you couldn't put a price on were my photo albums that my mother had given to me that had my biological family in them and stuff that I've since lost. If anybody in the sound of my voice from my biological family sees this or whatnot, if you could get a hold of Grady, I'm not going to say his last name, just keep it private, but or whatnot. If somebody could please help me get another photo album put together of my biological family, I would greatly appreciate it. DM me or whatnot, and I will get to you on that, because I would really like to restore those the items that are sacred to me. But anyway, so Penny Marie was there, and I don't know if she was in Miss Climo's class or not. She may have been, but I was, when I tell you, legit, 100% in love with this guy, and I knew what in love meant. That was the thing out there. I'm 5 years old, but and I don't know if it was before or after I was kidnapped and molested, and God and Jesus had come and anointed me himself. I believe it might have been after, because she was at my 6th birthday, and I know that my anointing happened before I was 6. It was literally about 6 months after I'd been kidnapped and molested. I may have been 6 at that point. I'm not sure, because when I got kidnapped, I was getting off. It was warm out, so it had to have been about May, anywhere between April, June, because school was over in June in Maine, sometime in June, and my birthday is June 3rd, so it would have been right around my birthday. I was 5, almost 6 years old when it happened. So yeah, I had to be. It might have been after, but and my mother would tell you, because I didn't know, I didn't realize how deep my love for her had been. I mean, I still remember to this day, 46 years later, I still remember this girl like it was yesterday. And believe it or not, even though I haven't seen her face since, I still have love for this person. Not in love, no, but I still have love for Penny Murray. And Penny Murray, if you lived in Old Town, Maine, and knew a little boy named Tim T. My original last name is still T. It is not what it is now. I was born under a different name, different middle name too. My mother's name was Louise. But I was in Miss Climo's class in 1979. And then I went to the Helen Hunt School for first grade. I had Miss Bragg, either Miss Gray or Bragg, something like that. Miss Gray, all the ladies with glasses, ate all brand all the time. Fucking always had fucking all brand. But I would love to reconnect with you, just to say hi and hopefully see that your life has turned out awesome and stuff like that, if you're even still alive. But if anybody knows a Penny Murray that grew up around that time, that was in love with a little boy named Timmy, I'm Timmy. Nice to see you again. Let's see. We're coming up on 25 minutes, so I think I'll stop it there for right now today, because I don't want to make these too long. And it does take quite a bit out of me to go down these lanes and everything. Although today's episode isn't too bad. It didn't really take a lot out of me. I mean, some of it's kind of funny. I mean, the cup of vodka. Oh my God, I couldn't touch vodka till I was fucking 17. I was afraid of that shit. Now I love it. Now I can't drink it anymore. I cannot safely drink, or will I safely drink? Fool myself into safely thinking that I can drink hard liquor by myself, unsupervised or something like that, because I just don't have the capacity to do that. I'm in a situation now where, God is going to take care of the situation, and because I have learned a lesson and everything, and I have done what I made a commitment to do, and I'm still in the process of doing what I made a commitment to do, and I'm seeing it through. But God is going to bless me. It's already happened. It just the timeline hasn't caught up with it yet, but God is removing that from me, so it doesn't have to be a blemish on my life and on my record and stuff like that. I didn't do anything bad, but it's just like, DUI shit and stuff. And it's like, yeah. And I don't want to share too much about it because if I do, then that's not letting God do his thing. And I know God is going to do his thing. And I'm just staying the fuck out of his way. And sometimes, if I can give a piece of sage advice, that's one of the things that has been hardest for me to learn is learning how to step the fuck out of God's way and relinquish control. Because I've mentioned in videos before that, if I don't feel like I have some sort of control, then every time I haven't been in control of a situation, or at least trick myself to believe I had control of it, every situation that I knew I didn't have control over has fucked with me in some respect up until now. So it's always been really hard for me to relinquish that controlling and learn how to get the fuck out of God's way and just let him do what he promised he's going to do, because God always keeps his promises. Always. Listen to me again. God, whatever you believe in, always keeps the promises. I don't care if it's man, woman, female, friggin' crystalline entity, gaseous, if you fucking pray to a fucking fart from last week, I don't give a fuck. It makes you be a decent human being and treat people with love, and you ain't fucking with kids, then by all fucking means, who the fuck am I, or anybody else for that matter, to say you're doing something wrong, okay? Maybe they're the ones fucking doing something wrong. Maybe they need to look at the fucking look at themselves in the goddamn mirror, and really take a look at themselves on the inside, not just fucking what they want other people to perceive. And I'm just going to touch on the little friggin', people that are addicted to the church lifestyle rather than actually being in the church. And then I'll tread lightly on that. But for now. But at some point, we're going to have a discussion on that. And again, anything that I put in my videos, since God has me doing this, is my personal opinion and how I personally feel. I will not, cannot, or and don't intend to tell anybody how to live their life or coerce anybody to do anything that they don't want to do or anything else. That's not what I'm here. I'm not here to. I ain't God. I ain't fucking judging you. I'm not going to tell you what your opinion should be, and you sure as fucking going to tell me what my opinion should be. You're entitled to your opinion, but that does not, listen to me clearly, you are entitled to your opinion, but you do not have the fucking right to tell me what mine is supposed to be, or anybody else for that matter. Do you understand me? I'll say it one more time for those in the back. You have the right to your own opinion. You do not have the fucking right to tell other people what their opinion should be or try to coerce them into driving with your opinion if they do not want to. You ain't God, okay? Everybody has a right to their own opinion. Don't try to press your opinions on other people, though. You don't have a right to tell people what their opinions should be or if they're right or wrong. I mean, who the fuck do you think you are? You ain't newsflash. You ain't that fucking special, okay? God might think you're that special, but you are not that special, okay? So, get off your pedestal for a little bit, all right? And that's not pointed at anyone in particular. That's just an observation, I observe. I have spent 46 some odd years observing. I figured some things out. Do I have the answers and stuff? Fuck no. No. I have observations, I have wisdom and stuff like that, but I'm just a man that's been through some shit, and God has carried me through all that shit. So, anyway, as always, if you can see my face and you can hear my voice, and you think that nobody loves you, or that you're alone in this world, you look me in my eyes. As long as I draw breath, Tim loves you. Always know that one person in this world, at least one person in this world, loves you just because you are a fellow human being. And you are worthy of being loved. And you are wanted in this life. You know? You are worthy to be happy. You're worthy of being loved. You're worthy of being respected. But that comes with a price. You need to respect others too. Certain people just command respect. Elders, stuff like that. For you millennials, Gen Z, whatever they think, oh, you gotta earn my fucking respect. No, the fuck we don't. Get it through your fucking thick heads. Elders, people that have wisdom, that have lived through things and stuff, they command fucking respect. They don't have to earn shit. By living to the age that we've lived and going through the things that we have had to go through, because you don't know what people have gone through. Be respectful. Respect your elders. You know, I have fucking bumps and bruises and scars and shit because I didn't respect my elder one time. Like, see this scar right here in my lip? I don't know if you can see it. There's a scar right here in my lip. I told my mother no one time in my life. One fucking time, even as an adult. One fucking time I told my mother no. I remember getting backhanded with rings, disrespecting my fucking grandmother. Let me tell you what, no. Don't disrespect your elders, please. Okay? But anyway, I love you. And again, if you think you're unloved, one person in this world loves you. Tim loves you.